Hello everyone, this is again Shipra ma'am, and today I am going to explain you the chapter How do organisms reproduce. It is the chapter of class 10th biology in CBSE board. Okay, so let's start. Before we start, we need to know what reproduction is. Students, in your earlier chapter you have studied about life processes, right, which help an organism to keep alive, the processes in which helps the organism to keep alive. So reproduction is also one kind of life process, right? It is a defining feature of all the living organisms. All the living organisms undergo reproduction. Okay, so what is reproduction? Reproduction is, as the name suggests, reproduction. Re means again, production means manufacturing, making. So how will we define reproduction? The production of new organism from the existing organism of same species is called reproduction. Okay, here the same species, the term same species is important. Students, same species means organism of same kind. Like human beings will give rise to a human being, right? A cat after reproduction produces kittens, cat. Dog after reproduction produces puppies. They are also going to be dogs when they get adult. So in this term reproduction, the same species is very important. So what is reproduction? Production of new organisms from the existing organism of same species is called reproduction. Here it is also it should also be noted that all the organisms of same species can interbreed also. Like a human being with mate with a human being, a female will mate with male, a female human being will mate with male human being for giving rise to an species or to an organism of same species. Okay, so the term same species is of very much importance. Second term which is very important related to reproduction is variations. Variations are, what are variations? Variations are differences in structure, physiology and other traits found in the individual of same species. Here variation means differences among the species of same organism. Like human beings, we are different from our parents, right? We are not the exact copy of our parents, right? So all the organisms contain some variations because of this reproduction process, and this variation is of great importance for the existence of life, for evolution on earth. So variation is an important term which is related to reproduction. When we are talking about reproduction, the variation word is also very important. Okay, and other traits, so differences between structure, physiology or other traits may be anything: color, hair color, eye shape, facial structure, whatever it is. So other traits, so differences in other traits, physiology, structure is known as variation, and this variation is bring about by reproduction. Next, what are the significance of reproduction? Why reproduction is important? Reproduction is important for the maintenance of continuity of species. Suppose we human beings are fed up doing reproduction. What will happen one day? The species, human being species, will be extinct. There will be no human beings on this earth if the reproduction process is not done by human being. will not be done by human beings. So it is very much important for the continuity of species, of a particular species. Another variation, for adding variation for evolution. Firstly, we will discuss about evolution. Evolution means development in a particular species to get better and better is called evolution. So for adding variations for evolution, as I have told you earlier in the first slide, that variation is a feature which is coming from reproduction. So why variation is important? It is important for evolution. We human beings have been developed from a single cell. When the earth originates, a single cell was there on the earth, and evolution made that single cellular object into multicellular. Then the multicellular organism become a human being. So we are getting developed from one cell to a multicellular organism, a well developed organism, due to this evolution process. So it is very much important to have variations, and variations is important for evolution. And what is the term which is bringing these terms, variations and evolution? That is the reproduction. Next are the maintenance of population size, increasing population, right? It is also an important significance of reproduction. Now, types of reproduction. Types of reproduction. There are two types of reproduction: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Firstly, asexual reproduction. How can we differentiate between asexual and sexual reproduction? Asexual reproduction involves single parent. Only single parent is capable of giving rise to a new organism. This is called asexual reproduction. There is no genetic variation is seen in the offsprings. Offsprings are the babies which are coming after reproduction of asexual reproduction or maybe sexual reproduction. So no genetic variations are there in the offsprings. Sex cells or gametes are not involved because there is a single parent is capable of giving rise to a new individual. There is no need of sex cells or gametes. Okay. In sexual reproduction, how sexual reproduction is different from asexual one? Two parents are involved, one male and another is female. While in asexual, only single parent is required. Genetic variation is there because two parents are involved. So there is genetic variation, and most of the genetic variation is coming from the sexual reproduction. In organisms, the variations are there because of this genetic variation due to the two parents. As I have told you earlier, two parents are involved, so sex cells are involved. Male sex cell, female sex cells are there, which are important for sexual reproduction. Now we will take these one by one. Firstly, mode of asexual reproduction. The modes of asexual reproductions are binary or multiple fission, budding, fragmentation, regeneration, spore formation, and vegetative propagation. Firstly, binary fission. Binary fission is the process or a division of unicellular organism into two daughter cells. In this, the genetic material, that is the nucleus of the parent cell, get duplicated. Firstly, the nucleus gets duplicated. Then, after the equal division of the nucleus, there is a constriction among the cell, between the cell, and that constriction brings the division. See, the constriction is there, and this constriction is bringing the cell to be divided. This constricted portion becomes more and more narrow until the cell is split into two. This binary fission takes place among simplest organisms like amoeba, paramecium and bacteria. When one cell divides into 4 daughter cells, it undergoes multiple fission like in chlorella and chlamydomonas. Okay, one cell is giving rise to 4 daughter cells, that is known as multiple fission. It occurs in chlorella and chlamydomonas, also in plasmodium. So here I need to tell you one thing more, that binary fission is of two types basically, the transverse binary fission and longitudinal binary fission. When the organism is splitting into two at any plane or transversely, it known as transverse multiple fission, and longitudinally, when it is dividing longitudinally, it is known as longitudinal multiple fission. Longitudinal multiple fission occurs in Leishmania, and transverse multiple fission occurs in amoeba, paramecium. So it is important to know, many times it comes in exams, so longitudinal multiple fission or binary fission, longitudinal binary fission occurs in with which organism. So you can able to answer that it occurs in Leishmania. Next term is budding. In budding, a new organism develops from an outgrowth called the bud on the parent's body. See, here is a bud over there in the parent's body. This is the bud which is coming out from the parent's body. When the bud nipped off, parent cell gave rise to a new yeast cell. See here, many times in yeast is the only unicellular fungi, and many times it can be seen like this also in the chain form, that all the bud or the progeny or the babies are attached to the main parent body. So in budding, what is occurring? A new organism remain attached to the parent's body as it grows and then separates when it is mature enough to lead to its individual life. Budding is common among some simple organisms such as yeast and hydra are the two basic examples. Examples are very important, or 10th level in their boards. Many times it comes for 1 marks question. Okay. So what is occurring in budding? See, you can be able to understand much better than this by this. See, outgrowth is coming from the parent's body, and when it is matured, it get detached from the body and grows as a new individual. Okay. Next is fragmentation. It is also an important part. Fragmentation, when the body of organism broken down into small pieces, parent's body is forming a new organism after the breaking down of its body into fragments. Like, see, here are the fragments of the main parent body. Fragments, 3 fragments have been there, and all the fragments are giving rise to new individual. Following fragmentation, each fragmented part develops into separate individual. Fragmentation is seen in many organisms. There are many organisms which undergo fragmentation: fungi, plants, annelids, flatworms, sea anemones. There are many organisms which undergo fragmentation. Now is regeneration. Regeneration is a modified form of fragmentation. It is very important. Difference always comes by what is the difference between fragmentation and regeneration. So regeneration is a modified form of fragmentation in which an organism cut into small pieces. The parent body cut into small pieces, and each piece of the body give rise to a new organism. It occurs in hydra, earthworm, flatworm, starfish, in which they can regenerate their body part or lost body part, or a new organism can be formed. So what is the difference between the fragmentation and regeneration, that in regeneration it is required that body has been cut into small pieces, while in fragmentation it breaks itself. Okay, in regeneration there may be or not a new organism is formed always. कई बार क्या होता है कि only the lost part of the body is generated in regeneration, while in fragmentation always there is a development of a new organism. Okay, so these are the basic differences between regeneration and fragmentation. Next are the spore formation. Spore formation, it is also very important mode of asexual reproduction. It occurs in fungi basically, and all the lower plants like algae, mosses, ferns, etc. These are the plants, and it is the fungi. It is not a plant, it is a different kingdom. Some bacteria also produce spores. Spores are the tiny cells which may be motile or non-motile. Here motile and non-motile means, motile means movable, which have flagella. Non-motiles are which do not have flagella, which do not moves by their own. What are spores? They are light, they can float in air or water and carried to different places. They are very light, हल्के होते हैं, and they can be carried through the air. They grow when they get the suitable conditions, moisture, food, warmth, etc., and grows there where they are been fallen. It is the example of fungi. These are the spores. It is filled in sporangium. The structure which are bearing the sporangium are sporangiophore. Similarly, in the plants, the lower surface of the plant leaf carries this sporangium in which the spores are filled. Next and the last mode of asexual reproduction is vegetative propagation. Asexual reproduction carried out by vegetative parts of the plant is known as vegetative propagation. Here the reproduction is occurring only in plants. Only the vegetative parts of the plant like stem, branches, root, leaves are giving rise to a new organism. There are two parts of a plant, reproductive part and the vegetative part. The reproductive parts are the flowers, seeds, fruits. When the flowers, seeds, fruits are not involved in reproduction part, the stem, branches, leaves are involved. That is known as vegetative propagation. It is very important point, or the very important mode of asexual reproduction, which comes always in the exam. There are two types of vegetative propagation, natural and artificial. In natural ways, it occurs by itself, like tubers in potato, stolons in strawberry, suckers in banana, rhizomes in ginger, bulbs in onion. There are many other leaves in bryophyllum which give rise to a new plant. And in artificial, cutting, layering, grafting, tissue culture are the methods for artificial which we do for growing new plants. Firstly, we will discuss the natural methods of vegetative propagation. Tubers, you have seen these types of tubers. In each potato eye there are these types of tubers, and these types of tubers give rise to a new plant. A single tuber can give rise to a new plant. So in this potato you can see how many tubers are there, and each is capable of giving rise to a new plant. Another is stolon, which is the lowest branch running, which are also known as runners. Okay, and whenever it is attaching to the soil, it gives rise to the roots and a new plant is coming out from that part also. So single parent plant giving rise to a new plant by this lower branch. Suckers in the banana, these are the small plants which are occurring with the main plant, and we can cut them and place them in the soil and a new plant can be grown. Rhizomes, you have seen the new ginger. In new ginger there are some pinkish reddish leaf, and whenever you get them into the soil you can get these plants. Bulbs, these are the bulbs. Whenever you keep a onion for a couple of days, for a couple of weeks, you can see these type of plantlets coming out from those onion bulbs. Leaves, bryophyllum leaf it is, and at the margin of the leaf there are buds which forms a new plant. Each bud can give rise to a new plant. Next is the grafting. It is the artificial method and most important method. It is the importance of doing grafting or another artificial vegetative propagation method is to produce a plant with desired qualities which we want in a plant. Suppose a guava tree is there are two guava trees. One species of guava is giving rise is producing very sweet types of guava, but the number of guavas are less. And another plant, there are lots of guavas it is producing, but the sweetness is lacking. So what we do this grafting method. We take the stems of both types of guava and place them like this, attach them like this and tie them up. After some time, a new plant grows which contains the characteristics of both the guava trees, sweetness as well as number of quantities of guava. So in this method, it is the method of attaching two types of stems, scion and stalk. What is scion? Scion is this part which is rootless, which is coming from the young stem of a plant, a type of plant. Main thing is same species. This method also occurs within the same species. अलग अलग species नहीं होने चाहिए कि we are taking guava and mango together, ऐसा नहीं होगा. Same species. So what occurs? Scion is a cutting of young stem, and the stalk, this lower part is rooted. It is rooted to the soil. This part is known as stalk. We tie them up. The scion part is also known as graft. It occurs in mango and rose. Layering, another method, very important method. In this method, what we do, a portion of the lowest branch, we take the lowest branch of the plant, bend towards the soil. When it touches the soil, then we remove a bark of this part, a ring of bark from this part, and keep a heavy thing on it so that it cannot move from its place. After some time, what we see, the roots have been originated from this part. Whenever the root and new plant originates, we cut or detach this plant with the parent plant. In this way, a new plant has been grown from the old one. It occurs basically in jasmine. Jasmine का example important है. It comes. Lemon and rose are another examples. Cutting is very simple method. We do it in our daily life also, in our homes also, in which a part of stem is cut. The cut end is planted in the moist soil. After some time, it gives rise to the roots and grows into an independent plant. Mango, sugarcane, rose are the plants which grows by this method. Okay. Tissue culture, the most important artificial vegetative propagation method. How will we define tissue culture? What is tissue? Tissue is the group of cells having similar function are known as tissue. So how will we define? The plant tissues are cultured on growth media containing salts, nutrients, antibiotics and plant hormones in a sterile germ-free environment in laboratories. This technique is known as tissue culture. We also called it micropropagation. कई बार micropropagation name से भी आ जाता है. What is micropropagation? Why tissue culture method is known as micropropagation? Because micro means small. We are taking very small quantity of tissues. We are taking just tissues to grow a new plant. From tissues we are getting a new plant. See here, we are taking isolated cells. Isolated cells means we are taking some cells of a plant leaf which is known as explant. We are transferring these cells on the growth medium. Medium is the artificial medium in which salts, nutrients, antibiotics, hormones are there. And after placing it, after some time, what we will see that these cells have been grown into a cellular mass. Then there is this condition of cells is known as callus. Explant, initial state. Second stage is callus stage. Then differentiation takes place and leaves, roots have been generated here. After generation of leaves and roots, plant is now independent. It can grow independently. Then we will transfer it to the soil. Okay. The plant growth hormone names are auxin and cytokinin. Auxin promotes the root growth and cytokinin promotes the shoot growth. It is also important. Now the advantages why we need tissue culture method. It is a very fast technique. Okay, thousands of plantlets can be grown into few weeks only. New plants produced by tissue cultures are disease free. Okay, we take the healthy part of the plant to get a new plant. Tissues can grow plant round the year irrespective of weather and season. Every plant have a time period for flowering. This is the time for flowering. This is the time for fruiting. But in tissue culture, it is irrespective of weather or season. Very little space is needed for developing new plants in tissue culture. Okay, class. Okay, class 10th. I have given utmost of the chapter. You can go through the video and you can learn many things from this. Okay, thank you for this and be benefited. Kindly share it with the other with your classmates so that they also get benefited, and do not worry about your studies. We are here for taking care of it. Just you need what? You need to go through the video very carefully for your better understanding and learning. Do share it.